Recording in progress.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blue Smoke and Black Ink. This is a podcast where you can blow off a cigar if you want, or just sit back and take 30 minutes to listen to one of the most creative people in America. We've had a great group of guests, and today is one of our most special guests. Let me take you back to 1960. I'm in a neighborhood where I grew up, Duck Alley, a little blue collar neighborhood in Long Island. And I happened to turn on this music show, local show on WPIX, Channel 11. And there's this guy on there singing a Bo Diddley song. But he doesn't have an electric guitar like Bo does. He has just an acoustic guitar. He has no group, there's no drums, there's no bass. And yet the song and the performance was just terrific. It just captivated me. I walked 47 miles of barbed wire, got a cobra snake for a necktie, got a little house on the roadside made out of rattlesnake hide. Little bitty baby up on top made out of a human skull. Come on, baby, take a walk with me. Tell me, who do you love? And that man was Tom Rush, and here he is today. Hi, Tom. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me on, Jim. It's a pleasure.
That career that started long before I saw you back at PIX is still going on now. You're still filling up auditoriums and theaters. You're still mesmerizing people with your songs and with your guitar playing and voice. You must be very proud of this career that you're right in the middle of, aren't you?
I've just figured out that this year is my 67th annual farewell tour.
Well, I'm
Starting
sure there's
starting
going to
the
be
starting the
67
clock when
more.
I was street singing in Paris in the summer of '63. I've been trying to figure out where to start the clock. I was starting it for a while when my first album came out in '62, but I've just pushed it back a few years to street singing
Okay.
in Paris.
Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, of those thousands of concerts, does one or one or two stand out and you say to yourself, that one was fun, or that one I had it going, or were they just all blend together?
Well, I've done a lot of, and I'm still doing a lot of variety. I play one place that has I don't less than 100 seats. It's like an 80 seat room, I think. I have to do two shows there, and they sell out. But then I also play festivals where there's 20,000 people, and I enjoy the variety basically.
You also enjoy sharing the stage, don't you, with different people?
I've been doing. You're right as always. You're right.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I've started doing a series online called Rockport Sundays,
Sure, I know it well.
and basically I have guests on, and a guest and I take about 15 minutes chatting, and then we each do a song and see you next week. But a lot of my guests have been these enormously talented youngsters. I was the first to record Joni Mitchell's songs
Yeah,
and James Taylor's songs.
yeah.
I thought I was the first to record Jackson Brown, but it turns out it was a woman named Nicole in New York City who beat me to it by a few months. Um, and back then, I wasn't looking to introduce any new talent. I was just looking for good songs.
If people want to tune into Rockport Sunday, Tom, what's the best, easiest way to do it?
You can go to tomrush.com, and there's a button there you can click on. It's a subscription series, but it's cheap, and it's easy, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, a lot of my guests have been these really, really talented youngsters. It's very hard to get started now.
Yeah.
A couple of these, I've just hired on a new accompanist, Brendan Cleary, one of the most talented people I've ever heard. And he was playing bars. Playing bars in Boston. And I thought, no, 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 this is not right.
Yeah.
Uh, let's get him up on stage where people come to hear him, not to drink and ask him to turn down the guitar because they're trying to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just a lot of really talented youngsters out there,
There's a
that
lot
are
of time.
having a hard time getting a career going.
Yep, yep. I think that's great that you're, after all these years, still introducing these newcomers. There's old comers too. My son, my grandson, and I saw you at the Cabot Theater here in Beverly, Massachusetts, a few years ago. And I can't remember her name, but one of your guests was this grandmotherly, matronly lady. She came out in an old house dress and she blew the roof off the place. What's her name, Tom? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm not sure who we're talking about.
Oh, it was an old gal. Gee, I wish I had her name, but it was just great. There's also a fellow named Nokia, I think, that you appear with a lot. Or do I have the name wrong? Who
Um,
am I thinking of?
well, I've got Matt Nakoa.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Matt
it.
Nakoa is a hyper talented.
Yes, he is.
He's outgrowing me now. This is the pattern. I get these really talented youngsters to be my backup, and pretty soon they graduate.
Yeah.
They he's now Matt is now working on writing music for a Broadway play,
Wow.
and Seth Gleer is another
Yep.
youngster who backs me up sometimes, but he's in the process of having a baby in a few months, so he's off the road for a
Okay.
while.
Yeah. Oh, gee, you just have a rotating thing. Let's go back to the very beginning of this wonderful career of yours. You're a Harvard man, I believe. Was there some hesitation or some doubt about you or the family? I think your dad was a math teacher, about this kid with a Harvard education deciding to sing songs for the next 60 or 70 years as a profession.
Well, my dad taught math. You were right. He taught math at St. Paul's School, this boarding school in Concord, New Hampshire. It was a school originally for the very rich, and it was a boys' school only. There was a dorm there that apparently used to be the dorm for the servants that the students would bring with them from home.
Oh,
And it's come a long way, and is now co-ed. But my dad was also faculty advisor for the kids, telling them which colleges to apply to, and he gave thousands of kids advice over the years, but he wouldn't give me any advice. It's your life, Tom. It's your decision. And so I applied and was accepted to Harvard, Princeton, and the University of North Carolina.
oh,
University of North Carolina had a really good marine biology course, and I was fascinated by marine biology at that point. And I decided I was going to go to North Carolina. And my dad, at the 11th hour, 59th minute, said basically, Tom, it's your life, it's your decision, you're going to Harvard. And so I did. And I got there, and there was this fantastic music scene going on with all kinds of kids playing bluegrass and Delta blues and Chicago blues and Irish Scottish ballads and all over the place. And I just got sucked right into that. I'd learned to play the guitar. I wanted to be Josh White at this stage in my career. That didn't work out well. But I got sucked into this scene, and it did strike me as odd that there were a bunch of Harvard students sitting around singing about how rough it was in the coal mines. But we figured we could make up with sincerity what we lacked in authenticity. And there was a little coffee house, Club 47,
yeah.
was one block from my dorm and was irresistible. They hosted the youngsters, myself included, but they also brought in the legends.
Yeah.
And you could sit in this little 80-seat coffee house and listen to Maybelle Carter of the Carter family.
Wow.
Flatt and Scruggs, Bill Monroe played there. And a lot of the old blues legends came through. And it must have been really weird for them, because these were guys, a lot of them from the Deep South,
Yeah.
used to playing bars with chicken wire in front of the stage because people would throw beer bottles at them. And here they are in a coffee house, no booze, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, with a bunch of white kids
Yeah.
sitting there paying rapt attention. It was just a totally different universe. They took it well for the most part, and I learned a lot from them. They were all these legends were, for the most part, not all of them, but most of them were very approachable. And you could go up and say, "How do you do that thing you do?" And they would show you. So
Yeah.
it was really an education,
Wow.
and that's where I was educated. Harvard was kind of an annoying distraction.
So there was no hesitation. You were gonna pluck strings and sing for your livelihood.
Well, I never quite made that decision. I graduated with an English lit degree and realized pretty quickly that people weren't lining up to pay me to read books. But meanwhile, I was getting paid not very much, but I was getting paid a little bit to get on stage and play songs. So I figured, well, I'll do this until I figure out what I'm going to do in life. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do in life.
Oh, that's terrific. So so there was no day where you sat down and you had to go tell your dad, the math teacher, "Dad, I'm not going to use this diploma of mine." It just kind of gradually happened, and it was a natural thing.
Well, I think the rationale then, and it probably was legit, was that going to Harvard or any university uh, was partly about what you learned in class, but it was also partly making friends and learning how to negotiate the world.
Yeah.
And his figuring, I think, was that I would come out of Harvard with a lot of rich, powerful friends who would give me jobs, and that didn't quite work out that well. And they thought, my parents, I think, figured I was going through a phase for a while. And when I was finally on stage at Symphony Hall in Boston, I think they came around and said, "Well, okay, maybe he's serious about this."
Oh, that's great. That's terrific. You were downplaying your guitar playing a minute ago, but I have to tell you, when my grandson started learning guitar, I said, "You have to listen to Panama Limited." I don't know if you remember Panama Limited, but it's a song you do, which you not only do the song, but you do the sound effects of the steam whistle and the steam brakes and everything. It's a wonderful song, and you're a wonderful guitar player.
I got that from Booker White,
Oh yeah.
one of the old blues guys.
Uh-huh.
And actually, my version apparently drifted pretty far from its moorings because I heard Booker White on the radio doing Panama Limited, and I did not recognize it.
Oh, really?
Now
Wow. Well,
you were talking about Bo Diddley.
yeah.
I got a little Bo Diddley story.
Oh, okay.
I was doing shows every Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. I do shows at Symphony Hall with a bunch of guests, and they were called Club 47 shows
Yeah.
after the coffee house, which was by then extinct. And one year I had Bo Diddley as one of my guests and David Bromberg.
Oh,
Now I
wow.
did not know that Bo Diddley was a trained violinist. It's kind of
Really?
counterintuitive, but yeah, he was a major fiddle player. Backstage, he borrowed Bromberg's fiddle, and Bromberg borrowed Bo's bright red linoleum electric guitar, and they're backstage jamming, playing Havana Gila to the Bo Diddley beat. It was
Unbelievable.
Unfortunately there were no cell phones at that time, so I have no recording of that, but it is seared in my memory.
Oh, yeah. Two of the greats. I didn't know either one of those had that going for them. That's amazing. Tom, this is a podcast basically about writing, and so I'd like to get into your songwriting as part. I mean, you've always written songs. You've done No Regrets, which I guess is kind of your theme song. You've done Rockport Sunday, which is also the name of your podcast. My favorite is a song that unfortunately has the same title as a Willie Nelson song, On the Road Again. I locked my door as the sun went down, said goodbye to Boston town. But what brought you more back to songwriting than you have in the past? Or am I misinterpreting that?
No, you're right on. I have written more songs in the past 10 years than in the first 50. Um, and I'm not quite sure what's going on in my head, but songs just keep arriving. Uh, Back then, at the beginning of it all, we were all doing traditional folk tunes, songs that
Yeah.
nobody wrote.
Yeah.
Every village had a different version. These were songs that came down from illiterate populations.
Yeah.
So, and every family had a different version of Barbary Allen, and none of them was the right version. And they would evolve over time. It was musical Darwinism. If you couldn't remember the third verse your grandma taught you, you'd have to make up your own third verse.
Yeah.
And if it was good enough, your kids might remember it. So the songs kept shifting over time, and again from village to village. And those were the songs that we were fascinated by, the songs that nobody really wrote. And there were a few exceptions. There were, Woody Guthrie wrote new lyrics. Actually, he wrote new lyrics to traditional tunes a lot. So they were kind of hybrid traditional folk and new lyrics. But then gradually people started writing songs. The hit artists, the big deal artists of those days, very few of them wrote their own songs. They wrote songs written by other people, and the producer's job was to match up the megastar with songs that came from elsewhere. But then we started writing songs. Dylan kind of led the way on that, and Guthrie, came before Dylan. But
Did you ever meet, just to interrupt it, did you ever meet Bob Dylan? He's another idol of
oh
mine.
yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah. I was part of the Cambridge scene. He was part of the New York City scene. But there was a lot of crosstalk between them, and I'd spend time in Greenwich Village, and I remember I remember one time when I was having coffee with Bob in some restaurant. We were sitting around chatting. I remember his first album had just come out, and I remember thinking, if only he had a better voice, he might stand a chance.
Yeah.
But the first album had just come out, and this guy comes through the restaurant and recognizes Dylan, comes over to the table, and says, "I don't mean to bother you, but I just want you to know I'd really enjoy your new album." And Dylan collars this guy, sits him down, and pumps him for compliments for about 30 minutes. He was very eager for reinforcement at that stage in the game. And then I also remember I was playing in London, and Columbia Records shipped him. Now, mind you, he couldn't get a record deal.
Yeah.
He was turned down by a bunch of labels.
Yeah.
And finally, John Hammond
Hmm.
at Columbia, he was responsible for a whole lot of big deal record artist careers. He could spot talent, and he grabbed Dylan after a bunch of other labels had turned him down, and basically recorded him. I was at the first recording session,
Really?
and I remember John Hammond's job was just to make sure the coffee was hot. He did not intrude at all on the creative process,
Wow.
and it worked out very, very well. Anyway, they shipped Dylan over to London while I was there, and they organized this huge press conference for him. And Dylan walks into the room filled with all these journalists, and he sits down at the end of the table, and he's got a light bulb in one hand and a pound of butter in the other hand, and refuses to answer questions. And the media just went nuts. What? This must mean something very profound.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means he's screwing with you.
Oh, that's great. That's amazing. Terrific stories. Getting back to your own songwriting, I've tried that for a while and it never went anywhere. But one gimmick I used to use is I would catch a phrase or a line or a lyric and then just strum a chord, and somehow the words took on their own melody. Is that how you meld words and melody, or how do you write a song? I guess is what I'm asking.
I wish I could give you a cohesive answer. Um, there's a book out, it's been out for a long time, called And Then I Wrote, about the writers of hit songs being interviewed.
Uh-huh.
And as you skim through that book over and over, the writer is saying, well, this one just kind of happened. I wrote it in 10 minutes. And I think that's the way my best songs happen. They just, my vision is that songs come floating through the room. They already exist,
Yeah.
and they come floating through the room, and my job is to try to catch them before they float away again. And the
Wow.
ones that come together very quickly are very often the best ones.
Yeah,
The
I think
ones, the
Hank
ones,
Williams used to say if a song took more than 12 minutes, he wasn't interested in it. Gee, that's terrific. So yeah, you're not a guy who types out the lyrics and then goes to the guitar and tries to find some music for it. You're not Rodgers and Hammerstein. You're the two of them simultaneously, kind of.
yeah, I guess I write down the lyrics as I'm strumming the guitar in the morning, which I haven't done for way too long now, but before I'm really awake is when the lyrics kind of flow and the music flows. And I sit down and I start just strumming aimlessly at the guitar. And after a few minutes, something happens that I think, oh, that's nice. And if it's lyrics, I'll scribble them down by hand. And if it's a tune, I'll maybe these days record it on my cell phone.
Yeah.
And uh, then somewhere around 11 o'clock when I'm awake, the editor shows up, and I put the editor's hat on, and I transfer all these handwritten lyrics over onto the computer so I can shuffle the lines around and say, oh, well that one sucks, but I'll keep it for later. But this line goes with that line, and kind of assemble the song that way. But as we were saying before, I think the really good ones just kind of flow and happen quickly.
Yeah. Do you consider yourself more of a songwriter these days? Because you're still performing. I mean, you're doing two or three shows a week, I think.
Well, it's yeah, I'm doing something like 60 shows a year these days, um, and I love to play for people. So why not do it?
Oh
I
yeah.
I get paid to have fun.
Yeah, oh gee, that's terrific. Who are we've talked about some of your inspirations and some of those guys who came through Club 57 who had no business being there because they were, deep Southern bluesmen. How about some of your contemporaries? A tragic one like Phil Oakes and people like that. Any thoughts about your group or your contemporaries? I don't know. That's a kind of a vague question.
It's a vague question, but
Yeah.
I'll do my best
Well,
to
maybe you want to hold up a banana and a light bulb like Bob did and answer it that way.
no, there's a pound of butter in a light bulb.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very very important distinction.
Yeah, I should have known that. I'll write that
Yeah,
down.
yeah. Um, well, many of my contemporaries are now retired or deeply retired,
Yeah.
uh, meaning dead.
Yeah.
Um, but as I said, I'm still having fun
Oh, that's great.
playing. The travel is the hard part.
Yeah.
I'm working right now through an offer to go to Japan
Oh,
to play some
really?
shows, and I'm looking at the flight schedule and thinking,
Yeah.
oh boy,
Yeah.
I'm not 23 anymore.
Yeah.
I am young and strong, and while at the same time old and wise.
Absolutely.
But 14-hour plane ride and then going on stage,
Oh,
it
yeah.
could be a challenge.
How about the stage performance itself? Has it changed much over the years? Are you sitting down more? This is really
I'm still
we're neither one of us young, but do you sit down more? Do you let somebody else handle some of the songs more? Like if you went to Japan, would it just be you for an hour and a half?
Well, actually, the guy that's wants to bring us over also wants to bring over Mitch Greenhill, who was part of the Cambridge folk scene back in the day. His dad was a booking agent for a lot of the folk acts, um, and Mitch is around my age, um, but the guy I'm not quite sure what he's got in mind, but he wants to do some shows based on the Cambridge folk scene back in the '60s. So
Wow.
that would be a lot of the conversation. Anyway, the um, The shows, I think I've gotten better on stage because I've come to realize that the audience doesn't want perfection, they want connection.
Yeah.
That's my mantra now.
Yeah.
Perfection is kind of boring. You know, if you hear somebody playing 1,000 notes a second, it's really impressive for maybe a minute or two,
Yeah.
and then you start thinking, well, what's that got to do with me? Uh, so I think, you know, connecting with the audience, giving them a feeling that you know there's a personal connection going on
Yeah.
is what's important.
Do you tend to
And
change your songs much? I know Dylan, they always say, never sings the same song twice the same way. You basically stick with it. Although in one case it occurred to me, you wrote a song called Ladies Love Outlaws. And with the Me Too movement, I noticed you had to change one of the lines. I forget what it was, but women touch
yeah,
outlaws down deep or something like that. And you said, no, I better stay away from that. I don't know.
I didn't. Lee Clayton wrote that song.
Okay.
He told me he wrote it for me, but I think he told Waylon Jennings the same thing because Waylon had a huge hit with it. But yeah, the closing line is outlaws touch ladies any damn wheres they want to,
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I decided no, maybe that doesn't work anymore. It worked
Yeah.
well 30 years ago, but
Yeah.
so I switched it to ladies, outlaws touch ladies, pause, pause, but never without proper consent.
Perfect boy. You know how to get into that Me Too movement, don't you? I thought it's terrific.
It gets a laugh.
Yeah, it should. Do you have trouble remembering lyrics? Not that you're at the age where you should be worried about such stuff like that, but you ever get halfway through a song you've done 1,000 times and think to
Never,
yourself, I don't know
never.
what's
That
coming
would
next?
never, well, almost never happen. It's kind of weird. I sometimes get halfway through a song and I can't remember what happens next. And and then it just comes out.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
motor memory somehow. I have lyrical motor memory where the lyrics just pop out whether I know what they're going to be or not.
Oh, that's great. That's terrific. Tom, we're almost out of time. I could go on like this. These are some fascinating stories and things. Tell us
No, no.
about what's coming up. I know you're planning Japan and you've got Rockport Sunday. Any concerts you want to hawk before we leave?
Well, let's just tell folks go to tomrush.com
Hmm.
and click on shows. There'll be a drop down menu with all the upcoming shows.
Okay.
But also click on Rockport Sundays and check that out. It's a lot of fun. I've got uh, well over 1,000 subscribers at this point, but
Great.
I'd like to have more because it's a way of introducing new talent to the world,
Sure.
and it's also just fun to hang around with other artists and shoot the breeze and talk about silly stuff
Yeah.
and share some songs.
I remember buying some tickets, not for myself, but for a friend of mine who lives out in on the West Coast now. And this will be advice to your audience too. I bought the tickets for him, and I made sure they were close to the front, to the left side of the auditorium, because he's a guitar player more than a singer. And I said that was the best spot you can watch those Tom Rush fingers on the frets. I think you downplay yourself as a guitar player, but that's something that's you're brilliant at, and I love
I
it.
have no idea what I'm doing on the guitar. I remember
Really?
sitting in the Club 47 stealing from almost every artist. I would steal something.
Wow.
And and then I saw a review when I started getting reviewed. The reviewer was talking about my unique guitar style,
Yeah.
and I couldn't stop laughing because I knew where every single lick was stolen from.
Hey,
It's
that's folk music. Tom, I've just been told by Zoom that I'd have to start paying money if this went on any
oh,
longer.
can't let me have that.
So I'm going to have to dump you. I can't tell you how much fun this has been and how great this has been. Thank you so much for being our guest here today on
Thank,
Blue Smoke and Black Ink.
thanks for having me on, Jim. It's been fun.
Okay, thank you, Tom. If I can find the right button, I'm going to have to end the meeting now. Bye now.
Goodbye.